Okay, so welcome everyone. It's good to see you. And today's topic is just connecting to the topic of last Tuesday. It's still about the so-called three perceptions. And today, let's see what comes up. First, to just maybe introduce you to the three perceptions. What are they? This is a way of looking at phenomena when they arise and pass within consciousness. So as you sit there in meditation, looking at yourself, looking at your experiences, you'll notice that many things will come up. Emotions, thoughts, personalities, attitudes, like impatience, for example. If the meditation session goes longer than you're used to, then some impatience might come up. Can't wait for it to end. You wonder, when will it end? And thinking starts, feeding into the impatience, making it a bit stronger. And the feeling of impatience becomes stronger, turns into aversion, anger, restlessness. You start to become fidgety. That then feeds into further thoughts, becoming more and more aggressive. And when does he ever stop? When does this guided meditation stop? What did I get myself into here? And so it goes on and on until maybe even you reach a real point of frustration or just downright feeling really angry at either the person giving the guided meditation or yourself or the room or other people next to you, breathing too loud, moving too much. And whatever comes into your mind, all these kind of things during the meditation session, they can be observed in the light of three different perceptions. The first one is the perception of impermanence. The word for that is Anicca. Anicca means something like momentariness. It simply points to the fact that nothing whatsoever that you experience actually lasts. It cannot be sustained. Any experience. There's quite a few fun ways to put that to the test, really. And you can play with that in your day-to-day life. Like next time when you're getting angry, try to stay angry. Just try to keep the anger alive. Can you? If you do this consciously, actually try. Like try to stay angry. Like let's say, okay, right now I'm angry. Someone has cut me off on the street. I'm going to try to keep that anger for 1 hour. Precisely that angry state. Will you be able to do that? No, because now your anger becomes an object of meditation, and as you very well know, when you meditate, you get distracted. So you will get distracted from your anger very fast. You can't keep it in mind, because there's no mindfulness, right? So you will lose it, and suddenly you will think about something else. You'll see someone else walking by on the roadside that you didn't see for 2 years or so. Hey, isn't that Frank? It's great to see him. What does he do in Phuket? And you forgot to be angry there for a few seconds, so you need to come back to your anger. And I recommend you to practice this to downright ridiculousness. Just try to stay angry. You do that internally, right? You're not running around on the street yelling and expressing your anger like a crazy person. But you just make it like your little inner practice, trying to stay angry. Next time you're sad, maybe you're crying about something, you feel really down, try to keep that feeling. Make it your meditation. I think in Zen Buddhism there's this saying, if you are sad, be it fully. And that's what that points to. Like you really make it a point. Okay, so now I'm sad, so let's be that one fully. Try, give it a shot, try. Any feeling that comes up next time, frustration, anger, pity, joy, kindness, try to keep it. And I guarantee you won't be able, and that's because it is subject to the law of impermanence. So the first perception really points to a simple truth. It's almost like the perception of gravity. It points to the truth of gravity. It's not an obvious truth. Newton had to see an apple fall from the tree. to gain this perception of gravity. Suddenly he had this perception, this very clear perception of that there is such a thing like gravity. And usually we don't have that perception of impermanence. We would have the perception of permanence much more. Oh my God, this is going to kill me. This is so bad. Who would have thought that it turns out like this? I love it. That is awesome. But it doesn't stay awesome. It turns into another problem. Pretty soon, just watch. You love the food, you're very hungry, you go to the restaurant, you order your favorite food, you start eating, take the first bite. Wow! You take the second bite. Wow! You take the third bite. Wow! The fourth bite. Okay. Fifth bite. All right. Then you get lost in a conversation and the wow turns into a just average feeling again. It cannot be sustained because it follows the law of impermanence, just like the law of gravity. It's a natural law. Nothing lasts. Nothing that needs to be added that is conditioned lasts. No condition lasts. That's the traditional way the Buddha put it, actually. He said no condition lasts. And a conditioned phenomenon is always something that is caused by something. That's a conditioned phenomenon. A condition here means it is conditioned by a specific cause. That everything that we know in this world is conditioned by a cause. And also each condition, furthermore, conditions more causes. In this picture, cause and result are synonyms. They're the same thing. Whatever is a cause must necessarily be a result. Whatever is a result must necessarily be a cause. Such are conditions. So everything in this world is just like this. We call it a law of causality. Cause and effect. There is a cause for your anger, otherwise it couldn't arise. And the cause is not someone cutting you off on the street. The cause lies within. Someone cutting you off on the street, that one you call a contributing condition. Something, it's a bit like, yeah, that's a good example. Now, if you have a seed in the ground, a seed of a rose flower, then the seed in the ground and a fertile ground, the sunlight and a bit of water make the seed sprout, and the seed will grow into a beautiful rose. Right? Now it's not the water that makes the rose. It's the seed out of which the rose grows, right? The water is just a circumstance that then helps the seed to sprout. The sunlight is another such a circumstance that helps the seed to sprout. But let's take, you have water, you have sunlight, you have fertile ground, but no seed. Will there be a rose? No, right? In a similar way, if you do not have anger in your mind, there can be thousands of people coming and cutting you off on the street, nothing sprouts. All the circumstances, the conditions, they are there, but no seed. So what is there to blame? Is it the guy that cut you off on the road, or is it the fact that there is anger in your mind? It's just dormant most of the time. But if you push the right buttons, pop, there it is. That also points to the fact that it is not permanent. It doesn't last, because it is caused. It comes out of a dormant state, someone cuts you off on the street, boop, there it is. There is anger. It just came, it just arose. And then there it stays for a while, it goes up to boiling point, and then it cools down again. And then it dissipates, disappears. Anger is gone again, it goes back into its dormant state. So this shows it's not really a thing that lasts. No experience lasts. And this is not a philosophy, guys. Many people take this as a philosophy. Oh, that's a nice philosophy. Nothing lasts. But this is not anything that you need to put on a sticker onto your fridge or anything like that. This is something to be observed right here and now. What's the point of actually looking into things like this? The point is you can learn to relax. Because nothing lasts, you're going to be really relaxed about stuff. Everyone else freaks out. Oh my God, can you believe it? And you know, yeah, it will not last. You know already that it will not last, so you're not getting caught up. You're not starting to suffer a huge deal because you think, oh my God, this is the end of my career. No, it's not. Life keeps moving on. Life is change. Change is the very characteristic of life. There is nothing that stays static. Everything is continuously in motion. The Chinese have really nicely depicted that with the symbol of yin-yang. And you have every polar opposite containing the seed of the other side. The black containing the white containing the black. That's because at the peak point there is a change into the opposite. Opposite not really the proper word here because it's very cyclic. It's not just linear, like left and right, two things, birth and death. It's not really like that. It's not two things, good and bad, but more one spinning force. Process. Everything is process, you could also say. It's not really a thing. It's more a process. That's what this indicates, this truth of anicca. And this is something that we can observe. You can observe that emotions can spin up and then they cool down again. The body becomes tense and then it becomes soft again. There's an in-breath, there's an out-breath again. There's a sunrise, a sunset, birth and death. And so it goes around and round. Life, in its many ways, breathes in and out continuously. So if you meet someone that is having a great time, you ask them, how are you doing? And they say, I'm doing great. It's awesome. And you tell them, well, don't worry, it will not last. They will feel unhappy about it, but it's the truth. Now they feel down. Ah, man, you just ruined my day. What can you tell them? Well, don't worry, it doesn't last. It doesn't last either. That is freedom. You're not bound up with stuff that doesn't last, right? Being bound up with stuff that doesn't last is much like being in a river and trying to fight your way against the stream. It's really stressful. Why not just get out of it and relax? What all the fighting for? Yeah, I'm trying to get somewhere. But are you not already here? Where are you trying to get? Sometimes it strikes me, we go to the city and there's a lot of people and they all run somewhere. And I'm part of that. I'm also running somewhere. Where do I run? Where do all of us run? Same destination. Yeah. We all run into the fire or the box. This is the only thing that I think about when I think about my future. And if there is some wisdom and some clarity in my mind, then I immediately put myself back into sanity. Where will I go? What will happen to me? Oh, I will die. I just forgot. Problem solved. Future to me is nothing but death. There's nothing to be found there. Life is not tomorrow. Life is not in 10 minutes. It's now. It demands my fullest attention. And if I pay attention, then I notice that life continuously changes in its way, and I'm not making it. I'm not making that change. It changes. Not Tobi changes it. It changes. And everything continuously moves. So it's not my business, I relax. I come to a point where I can be very calm and relaxed, no matter what happens. Other people get angry, uptight, unaccepting. Just relaxed. Just relaxed. Not being bound up, not being caught up, because we know it doesn't last. It doesn't stay. So why get caught up? Like there's this famous story of the horse farmer. I've told it so many times. I love telling it again and again though, because it's just such a good pointer. Maybe some of you haven't heard it yet. There's this horse farmer and he lives with his son on a horse farm. It's a beautiful white stallion. And one day the stallion just breaks out and runs into the forest. And that's it. Now the horse farmer has no more horse. And the villagers, they come and they say, "Oh, we are so sorry. We've heard about your loss. Your best horse escaped." And the old man says, "Well, bad, good, who knows?" And then 3 days later, his son sits out on the porch, plays his flute. A horse comes back out of the forest. Not alone though, it comes with 8 wild horses following it. And the son walks over to the gate, opens it up, and all the horses, they run right back into the corral. Now they have 9 horses. And all the villagers come, like, "Party time, amazing, you're so lucky, this is such good news. Now you have 8 extra horses, who would have known?" And the old man says, "Well, good, bad, who knows?" And so after a week or so, they start to tame the new horses and they get to work there. And one of the horses is particularly wild and it kicks the son into the lower back really badly and breaks his spine, nerves are severed. He will never walk again. He's paralyzed. And all the villagers come, "Oh my God, we've heard about this terrible, tragic accident, which is such bad news. Your poor son, he will never walk again." And the old man says, "Well, bad, good, who knows?" And 2 weeks later, the soldiers enter the village. They say, "We are looking for strong young men to go to war." And all the families, they lose their sons, which is a tough thing, right? And they're all crying and moaning. And then they come up to the old man's house and say, "Well, you're very lucky, you can keep your son. And we lost our sons to war." And the old man says, "Good, bad, who knows?" So there's one wise person in that story. It's that old man. He just doesn't lose his head. He stays cool, no matter what. The horse runs away. He's cool. He's relaxed. The horse comes back. He's relaxed. 9 extra horses. Is it good? Who knows? So why not just relax instead, right? Paralysis. Good, bad, who knows, right? It's just, life is just like that. It's only the difference is that if we do not see the law of impermanence, anicca, we get really caught up. We think that this is great, or this is so bad. Like, hey, we have invented a plastic bottle. Fantastic. 10 years later, how can we ever clean all the trash that's in the ocean? We have invented a trash cleaning machine. Fantastic. And it just keeps going and going. There's another story that comes to mind that beautifully illustrates this obsession with trying to get something or somewhere to make life easier in this world of impermanence. And how futile it actually is. So there's this nun and she lives in her cave. And she's a very good nun. She practices her meditation every day. And one day she notices that her robes have little holes in them and there are mice in the cave and they nibble on her robes. They eat her robes. And so she thinks, and she sews how do you say sews? 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 Sews, yes, thanks. She fixes her robes, right? So, and while she's fixing the robe, She's sewing there. She thinks, maybe I could get a cat. And the cat could take care of the mice. So I don't have to sit here and fix my robes all the time, and I could practice meditation. And so she goes to the village on her arms round in the morning, and she talks with the villagers, and she asks someone, is there anyone here who has a nice cat? Because I need a cat in my cave. And so there is one villager who has this beautiful brown cat, gives her the cat and says, okay, may it bring you good luck and fortune. And off the cat goes with the nun together to the cave. So both nun and cat, they sit in the cave. And the cat starts to meow, it's hungry. Now the nun has to think, all right, I have to get some extra food for the cat. So tomorrow on alms round, I shall beg for 2 portions. And so she begs every day for a bit of extra milk and a fish for the cat. And so goes for a while like that. And then she starts to think, why not have a cow so I could have my own milk? I wouldn't have to bother the villagers. And so she goes to these very rich villagers and says, is there anyone here that could give me a cow? And yes, sure enough, there is this one guy who has an extra cow, and he says, have it, it's yours. And the nun goes with the cow to the village, to her cave. And then the cow stands there in front of the cave and has nothing to eat. It needs a pasture, right? You call it pasture. Thanks. And so she goes again next day, asking the villagers, is there anyone who has a piece of land for my cow to graze on? And well, there is this guy who has a piece of land, and so she gets the piece of land and sends the cow on the piece of land, and then every day she has to run after the cow, get the cow, milk the cow, to feed the cat, so the cat can take care of the mice, so the mice don't eat her robes. And it goes well for a while until she gets really tired. She says, oh my God, constantly have to catch the cow and milk the cow, and man, I wish I had someone to help me with this. And so she goes into the village and she asks, is there anyone that wants to be a temple boy? He can stay with me and just take care of the cow. And so there's a family that have a boy. They say, okay, you can go with the nun. And since the boy cannot sleep in the same cave as the nun, she has to now build a hut for him. And so she starts building the hut, and all the villagers come together and help. And after having built the hut, all the villagers start to avoid the nun, because every time she comes into the village, she needs more and more stuff. And so they lock their doors, and so on the way back from her alms round, a bit more unsuccessful than usual, she comes to her cave and she decides, okay, I'm giving all of this up again. And so she takes down the hut, sends the boy back, gives the cow back, gives the land back, gives the cat back. And then the next day when she goes on alms round, she notices that she has a little hole in her robe. And she just smiles and fixes it again. So this is usually how we spend our life, isn't it? If you know yourself well enough, isn't that precisely what we do day in and day out? We try to make life more simple, all the way making it more and more complicated. All our simplicity, all our gadgets, isn't it making life more demanding, more stressful, more pollution, more inequality on the world, more problems, more stress? And it's all supposed to make us happy. But it doesn't, and you know why? Because it's impermanent. It doesn't last. It cannot make us happy in a reliable, permanent way, but that's what we are looking for. We're looking for the perfect solution. Like, if I did this, my life would be perfect. I'd have to change nothing. I could just relax, and I could do whatever I wanted. I just need this magical little thing, that change. I'm waiting for it, I'm searching it, I'm looking for it. Some people look for that magical change their entire life long. That's what we learn in fairy tales, right? And they were happy ever after. We are looking for that, happy ever after. But we can't find it because nothing lasts. So we stay in this state of being constantly unsatisfied. Our satisfaction doesn't really last also, isn't it? It's constantly needing new things. Now, okay, I'm satisfied for a little while until I need the next thing. Some people, they're like optimists. They say, well, I think I'm pretty satisfied. Well, really look at your mind. Isn't it buzzing around all the time, searching for something, trying to get something? That's why we need to do meditation, to be actually able to really see what's going on. Because if we don't practice to sit with ourselves quietly, we don't notice what's going on. If we're constantly distracting ourselves, we don't notice just how unsatisfied we actually are. If you believe you're satisfied, here's a simple test. Do nothing for an hour, but don't sleep. Don't look into your phones. Don't distract yourself from anything. And then watch. Just 1 hour just sitting, not doing anything. And then you will notice just how restless we actually are. But we never see it if we don't make the effort to actually look really, honestly. That's what it takes, right? So that's kind of the first thing we notice. Wow, a lot of stuff going on in the mind, a lot of stuff going on in the body, lots of restlessness, being unsatisfied. And well, that's the second perception. The first one is impermanence, and because everything is impermanent, there follows that nothing can satisfy us. It should make actually quite a lot of sense, right? How can something satisfy you in a lasting way if it doesn't last? Think of a nice thing, anything. Something you like, getting a hug, kissing, having sex, eating good food. Anything. Now, just imagine yourself not stopping it. Whatever it is, whatever nice thing that you're thinking of right now, just think of not stopping it. Just keep doing it. Does it get better and better? No, right? It gets worse and worse. Anything, really. Hugging, kissing, eating, good conversation, whatever it is. You're hanging out with your best friend. If it wouldn't have an end to it, like both of you are locked in a tiny little room and you must spend time with each other for a long time, then it becomes very problematic. You have no more escape. It doesn't end anymore. It becomes very bothersome. Quickly. In Japan, they had this kissing competition, and there was a couple that kissed for 50 hours straight or something like this. Is that pleasure? Does it get better with every hour? Well, if you do believe that, then just put it to the test, right? It's really simple. This is not about believing or, having a little idea about it, something like this. So you can put it to the test. Anything that you like, keep doing it. Massage. Thai massage. Go to a good therapist. Your favorite one. Get a good massage. And don't stop. Tell them, just don't stop, just keep going. Here, I pay you up front for 4 hours. Keep going. After 4 hours, will you still want to keep going? I doubt it. Why? It doesn't last. And it's unsatisfying. That's what it reveals, right? Any physical posture is essentially unsatisfying. Any posture. You try. Stay in any posture of your choice. Make yourself as comfortable as you want. Does it get better? Or does it get worse? That's the second perception. We have to look very closely for a long time to actually see that. And as I mentioned on Tuesday, when you see that clearly, then the real question arises. So where on earth do I find real happiness? That's when some people, they say, real happiness is within. Many people say that, right? Here is where you, for the first time, really know that. Or at least, you really start, your suspicion to turn within becomes greater. It might, after all, really be true that real happiness can only be found within. Then you close your eyes and you look within and you find just more stuff that changes. Thoughts, emotions, feelings. So you need to look deeper until you find something that doesn't change, that is reliable. And to our greatest surprise, we can say that's really essentially you. The only thing you're not looking at, but that's the only thing you're looking from. So it's not obvious at all, because it's where we are looking from. So we don't see it. It's like, come, have a look at your own eyes right now. Can you? Can you see your eyes? It's just like that. It's just like asking yourself, can you be aware of awareness? Can you be conscious of consciousness? That's turning within, isn't it? And that will only happen, this wish to really turn within, when you have seen that everything around you, and that includes emotions and thoughts and all the stuff, our body and all that, doesn't last. It is not reliable. Then the search becomes earnest, sincere. Then you're not doing it because it's fashionable to sit meditation. You're doing it because you really want to find something reliable. True happiness. And then meditation usually really takes off for people. What's the third perception then? The third perception is to see that whatever we see cannot be me or mine. So that includes the body and the conditioned mind. Seeing all the things that come and go, anger, happiness, kindness, aversion, attachment, whatever, liking, not liking, wanting, not wanting. It all just comes and goes. It's just stuff happening. For me, these words really have an impact when I say it's just stuff happening. The body is just stuff happening. It's not who I am. It's stuff happening. It's a body that happens. But as soon as it becomes my body, I start to suffer it. If it is someone else's body, it's not my problem. There's many bodies in this room right now, right? I'm very identified with this one. I feel like I'm this body. I'm not this one. And you feel I'm this body and not this one. But in effect, it's just bodies that exist in consciousness. The problem is that we make it a personal thing. It's not just a body, it's my body, and then we suffer it accordingly. The same is true for thoughts. Thoughts are just thoughts. They're all over the place. There are thoughts. This room is full of thought. And so why would I take some of those thoughts and say this is me talking, when it's just thoughts coming and going? And according to the circumstances and conditions that have raised us, that fill our mind day in and day out, well, the mind accordingly spits out stuff. It says this, it says that. It's just thoughts, just stuff happening. Not me, not mine. That's the third perception. In order to really break through to see this one, the mind has to become very quiet. If the mind is not accordingly really quiet and composed, it's very hard to see this clearly. Because the tendency is to constantly identify ourselves with stuff that comes and goes. I'm so angry right now, instead of, a bit of anger coming and going. Relax. That's not my business, it's just anger. It's just stuff coming and going. So I can relax also. But we get bound up with what comes and goes. And so we get pulled around by it. Like a dog on a leash. We are like a little dog, and then anger has us on a leash, and it brings us to Angerland. Like that. But if you can see that there is this leash, you can free yourself. Oh, wait a second. Anger leading me is not the problem. The problem is that I am led by it. That I buy into it. That I believe in its validity, in its substantial truth. It's real. I am that. No, you're not that. It's just anger, and it comes and it goes. It's coming and going multiple times, doesn't it? And so the practice is to learn to detach. Now that's a key word, detaching. Many people, when they hear detachment, they think, oh no, this is like cold-hearted indifference. But it's not. You want to detach from cold-heartedness too. And from indifference too. Detach from boredom too. Detach from detachment also. I'm so detached right now. Well, detach from that. If it becomes an I thing, ooh, I am very detached, here you have a wonderful spiritual ego. In the highest degrees. I'm very spiritual. Wow. I really got it. So peaceful. And you come out of your meditation, you've seen the light, Got to share it with your bodies, Can you believe it? It's such a good meditation. I've seen some light, and it's all ego, it's all self. It's so full of it. But who had the light? Who had a good meditation? Who was that one? Well, in reality, stuff just happened according to cause and result. The stuff just happening. Stuff just happening. If we can more and more see that clearly, that emotions just happen or thoughts just happen, the body just happens, it does just its thing, the more released and relaxed can you be, actually. No matter what, and then you're very relaxed and at ease no matter what. Old age hits you, illness hits you, accidents happen, you lose, you gain, whatever. You are at ease, period. That's real inner peace. That's real happiness. Some people, they live the life. They have great circumstances. They have a lot of money, a great house to live in, wonderful relationship, everyday sunshine. It's really nice. They can do whatever they want. And then they meditate every day on their huge veranda, their balcony, overlooking the ocean, totally peaceful. Then they go and have their morning coffee, blissful. And they think they are pretty far in meditation just until something happens. And then they crumble. Everything is a big problem. And we have a lot of pain. But true spiritual attainment means you have happiness no matter what. You're on your veranda, nice, morning breeze. And then you go travel somewhere and you're in the subway and everyone squeezes you in and everyone, like someone has their armpits in your face, and you experience the same happiness. It's just as relaxed and as easeful as you were up there on the veranda, overlooking the ocean and your morning breeze. So that's the key, and we break through this by properly practicing these three perceptions. And really repeating them again and again. That needs a stable mind, really. So you want to do the groundwork properly until the mind becomes calm enough to see clearly. Okay? So that's all that comes to mind for this week. And are there any questions?